The very first thing I remember, and I kind of appreciated going to the old Jefferson School because, we visited that today, and that guy was gracious enough to take me through all the rooms, and I could remember everything there. But one thing I remember, I was, I think, I guess I was 5 years old, but starting school, and my mother had, as usual, she had dressed me. I had the best pair of shoes I ever owned and all that stuff, and she was all excited, and I didn't want to go. But we were only a half a block from the old Jefferson School, so she said, "Well, I'll walk you over there." So we walked over, and she opened the door and let me in, and then she turned around and walked. And I stood and watched her until she got out to the sidewalk and took off, and then I took off following her. And she had a hard time getting me back there, but that was how I started school. And when I ended school when I was 12, I didn't want to. When I finished high school, I didn't want to leave school. So I guess something changed along the way. But the other thing I remember, the thing that, and we didn't really go. There was a house. One of the houses I told you we rented a house before we bought that first home. We moved in when I was about 7 years old. There was a little yellow house on Second East and about Second South in Springville. And the thing I remember about that house is that it had a cellar underneath. And we used in the summer and that my brother Jack and I we'd get down. It was dark down there. It was kind of spooky, and we'd get down to that. But I remember going down there one time, and there was a big spider web on that. As we went down, and we had to stop, and there was a black little spider. It was right in the middle of that, and the sun was shining, so we could see. It was a black widow, and you could see that. And I don't know why I remember that, but in fact, that's the only thing I remember about that house. It was just a great neighborhood to grow up in, and when I think about it now, and after you've gone through life and you see how much turmoil there is, in some neighborhoods and some places in the country, and that was such a peaceful place, and it was. I think I mentioned that nobody ever locked their doors. The keys were always in the car. If my mother never took the keys out of the car, it was always left down in the driveway. We had good neighbors. We knew all the neighbors, and I had friends in that neighborhood that I grew up with. We were all interested in sports. At least I was, probably more than some of them. But we always had a baseball diamond in the street out in front. We didn't have to worry about cars because there wasn't that much traffic.